Hey everybody, it's me Vic. Welcome to Vic's Creative Corner. Today I'm going to talk to you about Lightroom and Lightroom Classic and one of the new features that came out with one of the recent updates. I prolonged this a bit because I've been playing around with it, and we're going to jump into it. So if you have Lightroom Classic or Lightroom in general, you're able to go into your develop screen or your editing screen. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do is we're going to click on our mask. We're going to do a selection. We're going to select our subject, which is a new feature. There's also select sky. In this case, there's no sky. So we're going to select our subject here. And in this case, it's going to be a seahorse on mine. You can choose whatever subject you're using, whether you're on Windows or Mac. In this case, I'm recording on a Mac, but this will function on Windows as well. I have tested it on both. And in this case, we can do a couple of things. If I wanted to just adjust the seahorse, I could change the exposure. I could change the contrast. Not that I need to. I'm going to actually do two masks, and you'll see why. So what I'm going to do is click on Invert, and then check this out. You can actually change the background exposure. Isn't that amazing? Like, it doesn't take away from your subject, it's just doing the background. I think that is phenomenal. Okay, so we're going to do another mask here. We're going to select our subject again. And this time, we're going to use this for just the seahorse. So you can have multiple masks. Just make sure that you know which one is which. You can actually double-click them to label them. So I'm going to put seahorse here, select OK. And I'm going to put right here, background. If I can spell today. All right. That way I know which one I'm working with. So we're going to go back to the seahorse here. Now I liked what I was doing with the contrast. So we're going to play with that. The highlights, since he has a lot of white, I want it to pop out. So there you go. We can see his little dots on him. The shadows. You know, if I wanted to, I could do that. But because the photo is going to be with a dark background, I don't want him to look super bright, but I also don't want him to be dark. We're going to do the blacks. I think that helps the photo pop out a bit, but it's also darkening the horse a bit. So we're going to keep it at 1. 1 seems good. Texture. This is a cool thing. You can only do this to your subject, or you can just do it to the background. In this case, oh, that's a lot of texture. Why don't we put this at, you know what, 33 is not bad. We'll leave it at 33. Clarity, because this is an underwater shot and this is shot through glass, I'm going to go ahead and, actually, I kind of want him to look a little softer. Well, you know what, we'll put it at 10. 10 seems good. Dehaze. It's just like clarity, except it's a little bit more. Now, you're going to notice there's a bit of light bleed here, so we're going to take care of that as well. All right, Haze, why don't we give it 5? Oh, that kind of helped a bit, just a bit. Now, if we come down here, this is actually going to mess with our entire photo and not the mask, so we want to make sure that we're staying in our select subject area. Now I'm going to go to the background here. Contrast. Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes with it just a bit. Highlights. If I wanted it super dark, I could do that. We kind of want a little bit of the highlights in. Shadows. I mean, if we wanted to make it super dark, we could. There's no need for that. We can keep the shadows normal. We can make it super dark in the front. But we don't need to do that. That makes it look way too blue. That's the last thing you want to do. All right. Now we could do texture here. I'm probably going to add 10 on texture just because of the gravel, all of the stuff that's in the tank. Clarity, we'll give it 10 as well. And dehaze, we'll stick with 5. So you're able to see a couple of things here. Now noise. Noise is going to change the background because that's the mask we're in right now. So we can bump this up a bit and you'll start to notice that it looks a little bit smoother. Why don't we go with 50? 50 seems good. Now I'm going to go back to my subject here. And I'm actually going to Add 35 on the noise. It should smooth it out a bit. That looks pretty good. We still need to take care of that light bleed from the water. And yes, it can happen underwater, light bleed. All right. So we're done doing our masking. Now we could, because it was shot in an aquarium room, I could change this to the lighting. But I think it was, no, it wasn't fluorescent. It wasn't. I guess we could go with daylight, see what that does. Oh, that's pretty much what I already had it set as. We could do auto, see what auto does. Oh, that's horrendous, which means that it's picking up on the fluorescent light. We didn't do flash photography. That would be a nightmare with any kind of glass aquarium or plexiglass or what is it, fiberglass, whatever they do. All right, let's go to as shot and just leave as is. That's better anyways. You can see more of the yellow. All right. Now I always come here anyways. Luminance is just like noise or removing the noise. So I'm going to put luminance at 35. Color at 35 because it's still smoothing out my photo. You can still see everything here. But you know what? I'm going to bump it down a bit to 25 just like it was and 25 here because it's smoothing it out way too much. Now we can see some detail. We can see the little dots on the horse, but I still want to get rid of that light bleed. So I need to find the colors. There used to be an area here where you were able to take care of it here. There we go. I was like, oh, okay, it's still there. So I could get rid of the purple. And you notice that it went away and it turned gray. You don't want it to look 100% gray though. You want it to look natural. But this is how you get rid of light bleed. All right, so that seems good there. I don't think we have too much green. We still have a bit of blue. All right, so since the, oh wow, we can see a lot of blue and yellow here doing that. So we could come here to our color grading. Oh, not color grading, where is it? Oh, I know it's here somewhere. Here we go, color. We could remove the saturation a bit on the blue. And maybe a little bit of the yellow. Just a little bit. You don't want to take away from the Seahorse. But you see how all that extra yellow is starting to go fade away? You also don't want to look super gray either. But now our horse looks a little pale. Might need to add some color back. Yeah, that looks good for what it is. I don't know. Maybe we can add some. See, but I feel like adding saturation to the yellow helps. In my opinion. I think it looks better this way. And that's pretty much it. Now you can just go to edit in Photoshop. It's gonna pop up in over here in just a sec. It does take a moment. But I love this feature, mainly because you're able to select your subject for the most part. And if you have to add in anything, you can always do a brush to add to that particular mask on something that it didn't clip in. But most of the time, it's really good about grabbing your entire subject. So now we're in Photoshop here. Let's see, we still see a lot of the yellow. And I don't like that there's a lot of yellow, but it's not too bad. For it being underwater, this is kind of expected. I think that if we maybe change the exposure a bit, we could probably get rid of it. So that's pretty cool. We're going to leave as is though, just for video purposes. And I'll probably come back to this and edit this and post this later. But thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me while I was showing you a little quick tip on Lightroom Classic and Lightroom's feature when it comes to masking. I hope you enjoyed the selective of a subject. Once I do something with skyscapes, we'll do the same thing but with the sky, and you'll be able to see how it changes it drastically, which I can't wait. I'm looking forward to doing a skyscape. But thank you for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you all have a wonderful evening. I totally wanted to show you all the final version of it. It's already been posted on social media. I hope you enjoyed the video.